Hey guys, unconventional, how's it going? This is a video I've been wanting to make. If you're on the Atari Age Facebook page, then and you've seen any of my posts, and you know I'm a huge fan of the Atari Lynx. So I've been wanting to make a video about it. And there it is. So just wanted to show you that there's really, it's a really underrated system, and there is a huge library of games for it. Not huge, but there are a ton of games, good games to collect if you know what you're looking for. So let's get to it. I want to show you my games and just talk about them a little, and show you some of my favorites. There we go. So first off, let me just show you the system in action a little bit. I'm going to put Blue Lightning in there. It's always a good game to demonstrate on the system. Cartridges go in the back, like so. Okay. Now, my system here, I had the McWill mod done, which if you're serious about your Lynx, definitely it's the way you want to go. What they did was they replaced the screen with a modern LCD screen, modern backlit screen. Makes a huge night and day difference in terms of the quality of the display. Also, they put a VGA output on it, which means I can now connect it to a computer monitor or my TV if it has VGA input. Opens up the whole playing it on a big screen. Again, definitely worth every penny. I had it done by a guy on the Atari Age page named Russ Commandator. And he did an excellent job. And if you're watching this, Russ, I hope I pronounced your last name correctly. I apologize if I didn't. So let's turn it on here. And you're going to see Blue Lightning anytime now. There we go. Turn the volume up a little. This is a system that came out in 1989, so just keep that in mind. I mean, even with the original screen, this was pretty impressive. This was a portable system. Basically 16-bit, had hardware-based rotation and scaling. Anyways, I want to get through the list of games. I plan on like to do some reviews of these, a whole bunch of these in other videos, but let's get through let's get going on the list of games here. Okay, so obviously you just saw Blue Lightning, Scrapyard Dog, yeah, kind of a mediocre platformer. Hockey, actually pretty good game. Plays kind of like a similar type play to Blades of Steel on the NES. Definitely worth picking up. Hydra. It's watercraft. Kind of like, kind of, I don't know, like Roadblasters on the water. A lot of people like it. I think it's okay, but it's worth getting. Decent. Awesome Golf. Pit Fighter, an arcade port, and of all the crappy versions of this is actually one of the better arcade ports of this game. Paperboy. You all know Paperboy. Don't need to explain that. It's a good solid port. APB, top-down racing chasing game. It's okay. Nothing great. It's okay, but there's APB. Cyberball, another arcade port. Shadow of the Beast, which is made by Electronic Arts. Probably you may know this game from Sega Genesis. Also on here, and actually a very good version on the Lynx. Batman Returns, based on the 1992 Batman movie, platformer. Checkered Flag. Good racing game. It's kind of similar to Virtua Racing, IndyCar style of racing. A good demonstration of the hardware capabilities of the Lynx. Definitely a solid game to have in your collection. Ninja Gaiden. Another arcade port. This one is a lot more similar to the arcade game than the NES port was. And I got some of these, actually I'm using these little Game Gear cartridges cases for some of these here. Desert Strike. I'm sure you're all familiar with that from the Sega Genesis and Super Nintendo. California Games. A lot of versions of that, pretty much on every system of the era. Very good version on the Lynx. Casino, basically a collection of casino games. Poker, slots, blackjack, whatnot. Plays alright, you know, it's casino games. Now, for some reason, this game seems to be getting more rare and expensive. I don't know exactly why, or I don't know if it's rare, but it's getting more expensive. Nothing that special about it, but it's decent. Road Riot. Now, this game was an unpublished game. This is actually a reproduction copy that I bought on eBay. It was completed but never released, and there was a few games like that with the Lynx. Unfortunately, due to its relatively short lifespan, did not do so well in the market against the Game Boy and the Game Gear. I mean, it sold a couple million units, but we all know the story of that. But there were a lot of, or at least a handful of games that were completed, never released. This is a pretty solid. It's an arcade port, and it's a good one. Glad I picked it up. Glad someone made this copy. All right, let's get to the games that I have the boxes for now. Those are more interesting to see. Kung Fu. Kind of a weird platformer where your character basically the side-scrolling beat 'em up, and your enemies are various animated vegetables. Definitely unique to the Lynx. Oh, Hydra. Okay, well I already showed you that one. There's the box. Super Squeak. Another puzzle platformer. Very colorful, unique game. No, not unique. And it's a fun game. Very colorful, cheerful. Not a very expensive one to collect. Definitely worth picking up for your collection. Zybots. Another good arcade port, and a good demonstration of the hardware capabilities. Crystal Mines 2. Very basic game graphically, but very, very good gameplay. This is definitely, and it's not an expensive game at all. Definitely worth picking up, adding to your collection. Stun Runner, definitely a must-have for the Lynx. An arcade port, an excellent port of the arcade game that really shows off the hardware capabilities of the Lynx. So definitely want to add this one to your collection. It's not too expensive. Definitely a must-have. Stun Runner. Also, if you buy a complete in-box copy of this, it comes with some of these games, the manual basically was also a poster. You'd fold it out into a single sheet. You'd have the manual on one side and a poster on the other. In fact, I got one of them here. I'll show you. Yeah, got the one for Super Squeak. So this was kind of cool that some of these. So there you see, you got the instructions, game story and instructions on one side, very colorful. And then on the other side, you got a cool poster, very colorful poster. Only thing is, if you want to stick this on your wall, it kind of makes it hard to read the instructions if you need to. Malibu Bikini Volleyball. Nothing special, good solid volleyball game. Chips Challenge, another one of those puzzle platformers. Basic graphics, but definitely fun, addicting gameplay. And not very expensive. Definitely worth having in your collection. Battle Wheels. Another one of those ones that demonstrates the hardware capabilities. First-person perspective, driving a car. It's basically driving around an arena, and your car is equipped with shields and different guns and weapons, and you drive around this arena and try to blow the hell out of your opponents before they blow up you. You know, a little bit like kind of Battlezone, only much more comical, animated cars instead of realistic tanks. Not the cheapest game, but still pretty easy to find for a reasonable price. Definitely worth having in your collection. Okay, it was Cyberball, and I already showed you the cartridge for that. It was an arcade port. It's pictures of the screen. Zarler Mercenary, one little bit more rare game, a little bit more expensive, but in my opinion, if you are a fan of vertical scrolling shmups, as they say, you definitely want to hunt it down and add it to your collection. Very good vertical scrolling shooter for anyone who likes that genre of games, which I definitely do. So again, if you're into shooters, definitely worth hunting down a copy and adding it to your collection. Pinball Jam, starring Elvira. Power Factor. Okay, you know what? I shouldn't comment too much. I haven't played it enough. I think it's solid. I won't say it's great or it's bad because I haven't really played it enough. Definitely one I got to get into more. But it's also one that is not very expensive. So if you can find it for cheap, it's definitely worth picking up. Gates of Zendokon. This one is an awesome game. It is a side-scrolling shooter. Pretty easy to find, not too expensive. And in my opinion, it's definitely a must-have for your collection. Plays really well. It's got cool sounds and graphics and good action. So definitely Gates of Zendokon. There's a small box version, and then there's the large box version, which is more rare. If you want to pick that up, it's going to be more expensive. But if you just want to pick up the small box version, it's not too expensive to get, definitely. And, you know, you get it. You like platformers. Cool artwork on the cover. Robo Squash, another futuristic sports title. I haven't played it enough to really comment. It's like one of those top-down, fitting the blocks into place. It's kind of like a little bit like Tetris if you're looking down on it. It's not too expensive. It's pretty common game to find. So I would say, yeah, grab it because it's not that expensive. Try it out. Put it in your collection. Clax. A lot of you are probably familiar with Clax. It was basically, the Game Boy, original Game Boy came with Tetris. Atari Lynx had Clax, which was their answer to a puzzle game, and it's a really good game. It's been on several other platforms, but not an expensive game and fun, addictive puzzle action. So definitely pick it up. Okay, I hope I'm saying this right. Welgenschlachter. This is a homebrew game that I got recently from Luke Games. It's a company in Germany. And excellent game. Cost me about $60 to get it. But that's another thing is that people are making some homebrew games for the Lynx. This is definitely a good one. So if you're serious about collecting for your Lynx, see if you can still get a copy of this. Welgenschlachter. Gauntlet, the third encounter. It's another Gauntlet sequel, actually, which I don't know. I think it might have been exclusive to the Lynx. Third Gauntlet game, maybe not, so don't quote me on that. But if you like Gauntlet and you like your Lynx, definitely pick this one up. It's Gauntlet and it's on your Lynx. You can't go wrong. Todd's Adventures in Slime World. You've probably heard of this one. It's been talked about a lot. It's probably one of the must-haves for the Lynx. Not expensive to find. You can see I got a lot of these boxes. I've opened them, but a lot of them I bought new, sealed. Unfortunately, that's a example of the fact that Lynx did not sell very well, nor the games. That there's so much new old stock still unopened. But that also means that you can pick up a lot of these games, complete copies or new copies. Although I will say it's starting to get more expensive. I started collecting for the Lynx about 4 years ago, and a lot of these games, I'm glad I picked them up when I did, because I can see they're starting to get more expensive now, whereas like a lot of these games, 4 years ago, I bought them on eBay, brand new sealed for like $10 or less. And, now that's kind of doubled at least in price. So it's starting to get more expensive, but, if you get into it now, you can still pick up a lot of good games for a reasonable price. So again, Todd's Adventures in Slime World, not an expensive game. Underground platformer. Very colorful, good graphics. Definitely probably one of the must-haves for the Lynx. Robotron 2084. Everyone's probably familiar with this game. Obviously, a classic arcade game. This one is an excellent port. The Lynx handles this game easily. The graphics, the sound on it, and the control scheme, what they did, because it was originally a twin stick. You don't have a twin stick on the Lynx. So what they did was they just set it up on this version so that whatever you're automatically shooting, and whatever direction you're walking in, you're automatically shooting in that direction. So that's how they made this game work on the Lynx. Excellent. Definitely want to get this game for your Lynx. Robotron 2084. Rampage. Sure you're all familiar with this game. The one unique thing, if you like Rampage, the one thing that makes it worth finding a copy for your Lynx, this is the only version that lets you play also as the character Larry the Rat. So the other, all the other versions, they have the other, the three, the ape, the lizard, and what's the third one? But this one gives you the fourth one, Larry the Rat, and it's not on any other version, so worth pick if you like Rampage, worth picking up. That's the one unique thing worth picking it up on the Lynx for that. One of my personal favorites, Warbirds. Now, to me, this is a must-have on the Lynx. I know it's not everyone's favorite, but it is first-person pilot's view, World War I era biplanes, dogfighting, combat in the air. This is one that definitely showcases the graphics capability of the Lynx hardware, and it's fun. You're flying. It's just like it looks. You're flying a biplane, World War I, and you fly. It's use the clouds as cover, so you got the strategy. You can hide in the clouds. Your opponents hide in the clouds, and very good graphics, very fun gameplay if you like this kind of dogfighting. And they're really, if you think about it, across like all the game systems from retro days up until today, there aren't a whole lot of games that tackle like World War I era. I mean, I'm sure there are a few you're going to say I'm wrong, but you see a ton of World War II era fighting, aerial fighting games. Kind of unique to the Lynx. Definitely worth checking out. Warbirds, one of my personal favorites on this system. Ishido, Way of the Stones. Puzzle game. I have not gotten into it much, so I can't say too much about it, but it's not an expensive game. Steel Talons. Now a lot of people are, they're gonna not like it. It's a what do you call it? A flight, more of a flight sim, helicopter battle game. Now the frame rate on this is really slow, so by today's standards, it's gonna probably kind of suck, but it is worth checking out. It's not too expensive. It's worth checking out just because for its time, it was really impressive, the graphics. Again, the frame rate's slow, so by today's standards, not a whole lot of fun, but it's worth checking out just for the retrospective of how impressive it had to be in its time. Dirty Larry, Renegade Cop. Another average side-scrolling beat 'em up, shoot 'em up game. Not very expensive. If you like those kind of games, worth picking up. Battlezone 2000. Not a cheap game. This was one of the later releases. I think it came out in 94 or 95. So not too many copies out there, but if you can find a copy, it's a very good version of Battlezone. You have you can play the classic version, and then the Battlezone 2000 version, which is an enhanced version. You have power-ups and things like that. Very good graphics and sound for an enhanced version of Battlezone. Runs excellent on the Lynx. Again, it's not a cheap game, but if you can find a copy of it, definitely worth picking up. And last but certainly not least, another one of my favorites, Turbo Sub. This game doesn't get a lot of attention from people, but I personally really enjoy it. I've probably played this the most of all my collection. You're basically in a flying first-person view submarine, and the aliens have attacked Earth in the air and under the water and the ocean, and you've got to basically fly through in a first-person perspective and blow the hell out of everything. And you get collect I think you collect orbs that you get credits for. In between each level you can buy power-ups for your sub, which you're definitely going to need. Another one that also demonstrates the hardware capabilities. It's first-person perspective. In my opinion, very good graphics and fun gameplay. Very tough, but fun. So, not the cheapest game, but not too hard to find. But Turbo Sub, definitely, if you've got similar taste to me, I think it's a great game. So, that's all of them. And I would say maybe I have my collection is a little less than half of the total library of games. I think it's around 100 and change. That's probably about 50 games there I showed you or so. Not sure how many I have. I'm gonna put in Warbirds for a second just before I end this video. Again, I'm gonna do some regular reviews of all these games, but getting shot all to hell here. There he is. Almost done for, buddy. Got him. Alright, guys. Again, I'm unconventional. I hope you enjoyed this video about the Atari Lynx. Hope I can convince more people to get into it. And if you like my video, give it a thumbs up.